Hi everybody, Downwind Sim here, and just wanted to address a question that I had on my Discord channel. Some folks were talking and asking about where or how, where does the water come from, or how does it work when you're using Ortho4XP. So just to give you a quick demo, here's a sky vector of an area just outside of St. Louis, and here's St. Louis and the Mississippi River. Here's a big lake here called Carlisle Lake. And there's some other little ponds and streams, etc., scattered around this area. So just for an example, I'm going to use this particular tile to create, just to show you how this works. So as always in Ortho4XP, everything is based off of this southwest corner of a tile, and the tile is always 1 degree of latitude, so that would be north and south. So basically from down here in this corner all the way up to this corner, and then 1 degree of longitude, so it would go from this longitude line here to the east, and then all the way over here to 90 degrees, so from 89 west to 90 degrees west. So that a square defined by those boundaries are what you work on in Ortho4XP. You always work on scenery tiles 1 degree of latitude by 1 degree of longitude, and it's always defined by the southwest corner of that particular square. So the identifier for this particular 1 degree of latitude, 1 degree of longitude, this being the southwest corner, it would be plus 38 and minus 90, meaning to the west. So that defines this square here. If you wanted to work with this square over here, then you would go to the southwest corner, and that would be plus 38, minus 89, etc., etc. So in Ortho4XP, let's just look real quick. I have my actual Ortho4XP software installed on my D drive. D is in Delta. And here's the install folder. And so if I go in here, and then if I go into an OSM data folder, and then you'll see all of these other folders. These are tiles and areas that I have built already, so your system might be a little bit different. But if I drill down into plus 30 and minus 90, I guess. And again, we're looking for the southwest corner here. So we're looking for plus 38 minus 90. That's the southwest corner of this tile. So if I find this plus 38 minus 90, okay, right here. So I've built this tile already. And when you build the tile in Ortho4XP, it actually goes out to OpenStreetMaps. This is what OSM stands for, and downloads some information from the OSM or the OpenStreetMap servers. Now to look at this data and to see it represented, use a program called Java OpenStreetMap Editor, and that looks like this. Let me just bring up a web page here real quick for you. If you Google JOSM, that would be the software that you need. So there's a Windows installer, a Mac OS package, and some Java-based stuff that you can use to download and install that. So that's what software is running right here. This is JOSM, Java OpenStreetMap Editor, and as you can see, I have that tile loaded up, plus 38 minus 090 underscore water.osm.bz2. And the JOSM software will open up these files. So this is the file that I have opened up right now in Java OpenStreetMap Editor. And as you can see, there's just a bunch of little lakes. There's some big lakes. Here's Carlisle Lake. This is called Rend Lake down here, and then a bunch of other small stuff. Now to show you, to give you an example, I'm going to zoom in up here in this little corner, And I'm also going to turn on some imagery so that we can see what we're looking at. So I have, and to do that, you just go to imagery, and then you can pick Bing or ESRI World Imagery. That's what I've chosen because that's what I use. This will match the ARC imagery in OpenStreetMap, or I'm sorry, in Ortho4XP. So this here ARC is this ESRI, or BI is Bing, of course. So I'm just going to leave it on ARC, and I'm going to turn this layer on. Actually, let me just show you how to do this. I'm going to delete that, go to Imagery, ESRI World Imagery, and then that will load in the satellite imagery. And you can see here that these lakes, or these outlines, basically what OpenStreetMap calls a way. Any kind of outline is actually called a way. They use ways to define a street or a highway or any kind of shape like a park or city boundaries or anything. They're called ways. And they have little nodes and segments, and you can grab those and move them if you want. So just for an example, this is Vandalia Airport, KVLA, and I have the sim loaded up right here. And so I'm just going to pop out of the cockpit. We'll look around here real quick. So if I go up, and if I look to the north, there you'll see this is Lake Vandalia, and you can see that you can see the water boundary right there. You can actually see this is a tile boundary, so this is the north side of the latitude. So this is where it finished making the tile, and then this tile here is one tile to the north. And so if we get this, you can kind of look down there, you can see the reflection on the water, and you notice that that's all water defined there. And the way that is defined is if you look at the OpenStreetMap data, here it is just north of the airport, you can see this boundary of part of the lake. Now here's the other thing, is that if I look right here, you'll notice that this little chunk of water right around, right just south of this road here, there's nothing defined there. So if we look at that in the sim, you'll see that that's this little section right here. And if we go forward to watch that water reflection, you'll notice that this little area right here is really not defined as water. So you can't, you can actually drive your plane across there and nothing will happen. If you try to land a float plane there, it'll act like you're landing on land. So just real quickly then, to modify that, if we go into Java OpenStreetMap Editor, and if we create a new way, I'm just going to click out here to deselect this one. So I'm going to deselect that. I'm going to create a new way. I'm not going to tell you or teach you how to do this software. You can Google it. It's pretty straightforward. There's tutorials and stuff online. And all we have to do is basically trace this shape, whatever level of accuracy you want. And so I'll just trace around there and then connect that. Now I've created a way now that defines that section of the lake. And the only thing that I need to do now is I need to tag this this way with a certain keyword, and that would be, the key is called natural, and the value then would be water. So that means now that this, I'm going to go ahead and click out here. I'm going to pick the select tool and pick out here to deselect it. So now all of a sudden, this outline or this way has a definition of it being natural and water. And you'll notice that all of these, if I pick this one, same key and same value, same here, right here. This one is natural and water, right? Looking at this area right here, you'll notice that this is not too terribly accurate. And in fact, there's an area right here that is not even close. So we can go look at that real quick. Let's go back to the sim. Let me go up a little bit, and this is to the west, or to the east, I'm sorry. Let's make sure we know where we're going here. Okay, it's right along the highway. So I just need to, let's see, here's the airport. Okay, so I just need to go over to this exit. There's two lakes over there. So the airport's right there. We're going to go south. We're going to go over to the highway. And I'm just going to demonstrate how you would actually modify this. Sometimes there's not a water definition even defined, and so you'll have to add one. Or sometimes, okay, here's the lakes that we were looking at. Or sometimes they're not traced very well, so you'll have to go ahead and if you wanted to change it, you can go in and add it or modify it. So there you can see, if I zoom in here real close, you can see the boundary of the water that actually cuts across this actual leafy area. So we can change that. That matches up with this section right here. We can change that by, we can just select the way, and then we can go in here and edit these points and drag them to whatever new location we want. So you can see if we want a little bit more resolution, we can get another tool and we could add more points in here to define the outline of the lake. And then here's some other stuff here. We can go in and this one looks pretty good. These should probably be pulled in a little bit more. And that looks pretty good. These are kind of out of bounds here a little bit as well. That looks a little better. We'll pull this in. And this actually looks like it goes all the way down to here. So we can modify that shape. I'm going to go ahead and add a couple more points here. There we go. So that's that. And then just as one more demo, so I've kind of modified that one. Again, this way already has a key as natural, and the value of that key is called water. So those have to be set right. The other this filtration pond doesn't even have a definition on it. So if we go back to the sim, zoom out, here's those filtration ponds here. And you'll notice that, again, these do not have any water defined on them. So we can add those real quick in JOSM. So let's just kind of get them centered up here. I'm going to go back to my drawing mode, and I can just, again, just trace this. Put a little curve there. This one's relatively easy. Okay, so that's that one. And then again, this selected way right now has no key or value associated with that. So I'm just going to hit add, and then if these are blank, what you would do is just go in here and type natural. They fill in automatically for me because I've already done these values. And once you do that, they'll show up here as shortcuts. So like I could just click that and it would fill all that in for me, and hit OK. So now if I deselect that, you'll see it has a little blue border around it. Now that will end up being defined as water. So one other thing here real quick, we'll just trace this one real fast, and then we'll rebuild the tile or recook it to get it to show up in the sim. And again, a lot of times the accuracy of this is not really that important. It depends on where you're actually going to see it in the sim. If I have an extra point in here like that one, I can just highlight it, hit delete. But generally, you don't need a lot of accuracy here. Here's one that's a little bit off, and that looks pretty good. And again, just trial and error. So natural and water, I'm going to hit OK. So that's now tagged. Now one other thing to kind of keep in mind is that this, let me turn off the imagery here real quick. Again, Ortho4XP does 1 degree of latitude by 1 degree of longitude at a time. And so you can kind of see an outline of a square. And so when I make this tile again with this updated data, if I draw stuff outside of this area, it's just going to be a waste, because it's only going to look for waves that are inside this boundary. And you can kind of see, you can see down here as I move my cursor up, right about in here, it clicks over to 39 degrees. So as I zoom into here, you'll see somewhere in here is the boundary, right about in here, and that's where the boundary of the tile is. So if you have objects that are on boundaries of tiles, then generally you want this same way on both tiles so that ultimately it'll match up. So the boundary again is right across the end here, and you can see the easterly boundary is somewhere in this area. So just kind of keep that in mind, that that's what's going on. So these are the lakes that we just added. There's also, let me go ahead and turn this on. Looks like there's another lake right here, and actually there's a river in here as well that is not defined. So we could go in and define this river if we wanted to, but you do it the same exact way that I just got done showing you. It's just a matter of tracing a bunch of steps here. I'll do another little section here. Let's go up to let's just go up to the north side of this, the boundary. So right around in here is the boundary of the northern limit of the tile. So we'll start building it right there. And again, I'm just overlapping a little bit. So this is just a matter of tracing around this. And there's actually a plugin that you can use that will speed this process up. I won't go into that. You can kind of research that a little bit more if you want to. But what the plugin does is it just lets you drag your mouse and it will automatically put in points. So we'll go down to this little bend here in the river. Okay, something like that. I'm just going to jump across and come back up here and trace the outline of the river here. And again, accuracy is sort of up to you. It just depends on how close you might be flying in the sim in this particular area. Obviously the less close you're going to be, the less important it is for you to be exactly accurate on this. And a lot of times trees will overlap water. They'll hang over the bank. Alright, so we're about done with this little section here, and I'm just going to close that up. So again, this way that we've just drawn has no tags associated with it, so we're just going to tag that again as water. And I'm just going to unselect it here. You can see that that's defined now. And so we could continue that and put this river in, and then it would be defined as water once you get into the sim. So again, what we did was we added a couple of things. We added this little chunk of water right north of the airport. We modified this lake to make it not overlap this area. And we added these filtration ponds, and then we also added a little chunk of the water, or this river up here. So once I do that, I need to save this data. So if I just click on the little drive, you'll see that that has an asterisk. That means that I don't think that that's been saved. So we'll hit save. It's working. It's working. And there, the save icon has gone away. So that has now been saved. So let's put this away. I'm gonna exit the simulator, and let's go back and recook or rebuild this tile with Ortho4XP. So again, this file here is what I've just updated. You can see that the time and date stamp has been modified. Now these other files in here in this folder can also be edited with Java OpenStreetMap Editor. We can go in here and say open, and we can open up the airports file. This is a thing that defines, let me turn this off, defines airport boundaries essentially. So up here, here's Vandalia, and Ortho4XP uses certain components of these to add in flattening and smoothing the area around an airport. So that's what that is, and then so that's the airport file. We already looked at the water. I'm going to turn this off. Let's open up another one. You can kind of explore what's going on here. Big roads is again, here's that tile, and Vandalia we worked on up here. Let me go ahead and turn on the airports. Okay, so there's the Vandalia airport. So this one again defines where major roads are at. Now, Ortho4XP doesn't actually create the roads, but it uses this data to flatten the terrain so that the roads can sit on like a bulldozed or graded area in the terrain. And this becomes more important in more mountainous regions. In flat Illinois, it doesn't make that big of a difference, but you can kind of see what these are. And there's a way that you can actually get it to do secondary roads and things like that. That's in the options here, road level. So if you change this value to something else, you get more detail in the roads. Again, it doesn't create roads, it creates flattened areas, or imagine the bulldozer coming in and grading off the area to where the road would actually sit. That's what it's doing. So that's you can look at these, you can edit them, but generally they're spot on. The water definitions, we have just found out that not all of them are there. So airports, big roads, coastline doesn't apply here, but that if you have an area or a tile that happens to be a coastline, for instance the ocean or something like that, then that would show up there. On this one there's no coastlines. There's no data in the coastlines. Let me turn the roads off real quick and talk real briefly about, let's turn that road off, and let's turn on the water. Okay, so this is Carlisle Lake, and you'll see that this is actually a little bit different, and this is defined by several way segments, and all of those are connected into a group, or what they call a relation. And again, it's a little bit more complicated, but that's, you can see that this way comes up to here, and then it joins right here. Those are connected, but this is a different way than this, and both of those ways are in this group or in this relation. And as you can see, there's 19 members. I can double click that. You can see all of the things and whether or not something is an outer ring. So there's that. Or you can look at different inner rings. Here's an inner ring, which basically creates like an island. So all of those have to be set as inner or outer depending on what they are, and it's just the way that the data comes in. So just wanted to give you a heads up on that. Again, Google is your friend here to learn and understand how that works, but those will come in that way. So that's how water is defined in Ortho4XP. And again, we've saved that. I'll go ahead and hit the save button again. I don't think I've made any changes, but we're going to go back and remake the tile or recook it, and then we'll load it up in the sim to see what the changes that we've done. So again, the tile went ahead and clicked on the world. let me refresh this because somewhere in here, okay, this is the tile right here. So I'm going to hold down Shift and hit the left mouse button. That highlights plus 38 minus 090. So again, that references plus this is the southwest corner right here, and it goes up to this corner, and then over here to this corner, and then down here to this corner. So everything within the square, within that tile, 1 degree of latitude by 1 degree of longitude, will be remade. So I'm going to just select these processes. I wouldn't have to do extract overlays because I've already done that. So I'm going to turn that off, and then I'm just going to do this one tile. So I'll click batch build, and you can see now that it's opening up the OSM data for the airports. It's recycling the big roads, the OSM data again that we looked at with Ortho4XP, or I'm sorry, with Java OpenStreetMaps, and now it's dealing with the water file. That's the one that we made modifications to, and we resaved it, and now we're letting Ortho4XP remake that. So again, the areas, I'm going to zoom back in here to Vandalia. Here's the airport. We added this little chunk of water just south of this east and west road, and then we made some modifications right here. We added this river, little chunk of this river, these filtration ponds, and we modified this one. So as soon as this gets done cooking away and reprocessing, we can open it up in the sim and see what we've done. While this is going, again, this is not meant to be how to use Java OpenStreetMap editor, or it's not really meant to, this video is not really meant to be how to use Ortho4XP, but mainly just to help you understand where this data is and how to edit it, and then how to resave it and use it to make things that you want in the sim terrain. So again, each one of the tiles that have been made, if I back up a folder level and just look at the next one over, you'll see that it has a whole nother set of those files, and they're all referencing plus 38 minus 89. And we can look at minus 88 and same thing. So again, we could open those up with Java OpenStreetMap editor if we wanted to, and modify it, resave it, and then remake or recook the tile. So a lot of times, you know, big things. This is interesting here because the satellite imagery looks like it was taken when there was a flood. So a lot of these areas are flooded out, and you'll find like little mismatches and things like that kind of scattered about, depending on when the satellite image was taken and what was going on at the particular time. So again, here's a couple of lakes, and then you can kind of see, like, even this, the resolution of this is not real good. So if we wanted to, we could come back in here and edit and add this little cove in here. But again, this is just a quick here demo. So this tile has been reprocessed and it's finished. So I'm going to go ahead and open up X-Plane, and we should be able to see our changes. So this scenery tile was already in my custom scenery. It was already linked. If you don't understand how to do that, there's other videos on my channel that talk about how to do that, or just, you know, again, Google is your friend. Alright, so we're going to just load in on the Skyhawk. We're going to go to Vandalia Municipal, and we'll just start at that ramp, hit start, and we should be able to load in here real quick and see, hopefully see our changes. While that is loading, I'm going to just come in here, and again, like if we wanted to modify some of these, we could just come in here. This tool here lets you actually add points. If you hold down Control, you can reshape this. There, I can do that, and then this is a boat ramp. So again, we could add a little more detail here if we wanted to. Most of the time, it's not really necessary unless the area that you're messing with or concerned about is close to an airport, where you'd be on a low approach or something like that. But that's sort of the process of just coming in here and adding points and making this a little bit more accurate as far as what's reflected in the simulator. Okay, so X-Plane is loaded. Let's go back in. And again, just as a refresher, we were manipulating these points up here. We added this little body of water just south of this road. So let's go see if that's in the sim now. So I'm going to pop out of the cockpit and go up, look to the north, and if we come up here now, you will see that there is actual water defined in the terrain. So let's go up here and spin around, and we can see the reflection of the sun in there. There it is. So you can see now that the reflection of the sun on the water is now there, and since we've drawn that shape in, that is now defined as water. So let's just it's as easy as that, folks. And if we'll buzz on over here to the other little changes that we've made. And again, all of these things are done an entire tile at a time. So 1 degree of latitude by 1 degree of longitude. Okay, here are the 2 lakes that we added. I can already see the filtration ponds in the distance there that have new definition. We modified this lake right here. Let me get over top of it here, and you can see now that the outline of the water follows a little bit more of the shape of the lake. And then if we go over here and check out our filtration ponds, let's go this way. There you can also see our river that we added up here. So there's our filtration ponds. If we get over here, and we can kind of see the reflection of the sun. There it is. You can kind of see the sun reflecting across the water down there. And the same thing over here. Where's our okay, this is our river right here. So you can kind of see, the water shape and the ground. If I come down here really close, you can kind of see what's going on. And again, there's the water reflection. And if we go up a little bit farther to the north, there's the edge of the boundary of the tile right there. So you can see anything that we drew to the north of this does not show up. You can see where the water ends up stopping right there, and then this section up here then does not have any water defined on it because that's part of the tile to the north. So you would have to go in, and if you wanted that river to be in there, you could go in there. And then this is the area where we stopped. We traced down to right there. We did right before this little S bend. If you were kind of looking at it toward the south now, but if you look at it here, so right before that S bend there, you can see where our boundary stops. So there you go. That's a quick explanation of how water works with Ortho4XP and with, so let's see, here's Ortho4XP, and then you can also see how it works with Java OpenStreetMap Editor. So hopefully it took 30 minutes to explain. It's a little bit involved, but that's what's happening, and that's why things work the way they do. Hope that helps. If you have any questions, ask in the Discord. Thanks. Bye.